Hello, this is Lisa from Happy Stampin'. Today we're going to be making this happy birthday card. I am really sad that this stamp set is going away. So if you want it, I would make sure to grab it now. It's called Coffee Cafe, and then it's got the coffee cups Thinlits. So, like I said, if you want it, I'd be getting it soon because at the end of May, it will be gone. Or it's really the beginning of June. It will be gone. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. All right, so I need a piece of Bermuda Bay, and this measures 8.5 by 5.5 score, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. With my scoreboard. All right. Let's put that in. Fold that in half. Use my bone folder. Get a good crease on here. The better the crease, the flatter it will lay. I need 2 pieces of Whisper White that are 4 by 5 1/4. And then I just really need some scraps. So I need a scrap of Bermuda Bay, a scrap of Early Espresso. I have a piece of Para Pizzazz here, and that measures 4 by 1 3/4. And then another scrap of Whisper White. And then I also need another scrap of Whisper White that is about 1 1/8, and let's see, 1 1/8, 1 1/4. So 1 1/4 and at least by 3 1/2. So I'm just going to cut this down to 3 1/2 right here. I'm going to cut it down to 3 3/4. Yeah, I'm going to cut it down to 3 3/4. I'm just using up some scraps here. All right, so using your scrap of Whisper White, I'm going to take the coffee cup image, and I'm going to use my Early Espresso, and I'm going to stamp that. So we're just going to stamp that on a scrap, and that's going to be cut out with the matching framelit. All right, I'm gonna use this again, but we'll bring it back in a second. So we'll get that out of the way. All right. Well, let's just go ahead. I'm going to get this cut out here. Let's get this cut out. So I'll bring in my Big Shot. I have my magnetic platform, my cutting pad. I'm going to use my coffee cups framelits. And we're going to bring this over here. And if it doesn't like where you're at, then just scooch your paper over to where it wants it to be. It's just easier. Or you can put a piece of Post-it note tape or washi tape, whatever you want to use on here. And then I'm also going to bring in my scrap of Bermuda Bay with the wrapper for the cup, and I'll just run that through at the same time. Save on the passes here. Okay. Those cut out. Sorry for the shaking. And then the other thing that I need to cut out is the lid to the coffee cup. So take those out of the way. I'm going to bring in my piece of Early Espresso. And here's the lid to the coffee cup. So we'll cut that out. Then I'm going to bring in, while I have my Big Shot out, I'm going to change my platforms here over to the Big Shot platform, a cutting pad. I'm going to bring in one of those pieces of 4 by 5 1/4 sheets of Whisper White cardstock. I'm also going to bring in the Sparkle embossing folder, and I'm just going to put that in here. I am going to line it up to make sure that it is straight as far as I can. Another cutting pad, and then we will put that through the Big Shot. And then we'll move that out of the way because we are all done. Alright, so we'll take this out. And believe it or not, we're going to stamp on this after I had run it through the Big Shot, because I wanted I could have stamped it and then run it through, but then I didn't really know where my coffee beans were going to end up. So this way I know where they're going to be. So I'm going to take the little coffee beans that are in the set and my early espresso again. And I'm just going to stamp down here. And if it goes over, that's okay. No big deal. And then I'm going to put another set right up there. Then I'm going to bring the little heart in, and I'm going to stamp that in Pear Pizzazz. And then once down here. Okay, there we go. Now I can take this, and I'm going to take my little piece of Pear Pizzazz here, and I'm going to take the Banner Triple Punch, and I'm going to put that, I'm going to center it in the middle here, and I'm going to punch that out. So I'm going to center it right there, and I'm going to give it a punch, and then that's going to make a banner for me. Now I'm going to make another banner with this Whisper White piece, but I'm going to stamp it first. So let me bring in my Stamparatus. So I have that all set up on my Stamparatus here. So the stamp set that I am using is called Lily Lake, I believe. Lily Pad Lake, and I'm just using these like waves right here just to give it some extra texture on the on this panel right here. And I have it set up where I want it. So let me put that up there, because that's going to go over the panel. I'm going to bring in my Bermuda Bay ink. I'm going to ink this little piece up in Bermuda Bay. And then I'm going to stamp that. And I got a little bit. Let me just move this up just a tad. There we go. All right. Now, I'm just going to move this up just a little bit. Because I want to stamp along the edge there. And I think that this one appears to be a little wider than my original one. So I think I'm going to cut this down as soon as I get this stamped. You just kind of got to fiddle with it, but it works well with the Stamparatus because you can kind of see what you're doing before you do it. It still needs to come down some. There we go. All right, good. Okay, get that out of the way. Get my ink put away. So I am going to cut this down just a tad. Let's see. I'm going to cut it down to 3/4. Maybe not 3/4. I'm going to cut it down to 15/16. That's the little line that's just before the 1-inch mark. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take my triple banner punch, and I'm going to put that in the middle here. And it's a little less than 1 inch, so it's going to go right in there. And I'm going to flag that banner also.
Hold on, I gotta go to the ice, okay, Mom?
And then those are going to go right like that. Okay. All right. So bring this in so that I can see what I'm doing here. So I have the little white piece here, and I'm going to take my piece of Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my white piece, and I want to use the wet glue because this does have some texture to it. And that's going to go right up to the edge. Right like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring in my wet glue. And that's going to go almost all the way up here. All right, just like that. Now I thought of something. I like this coffee cup, but I thought it looked a little plain. So I'm going to bring in my subtle embossing folder, and I'm also going to emboss the coffee cup, just the coffee cup, in this embossing folder here. So I'm going to just put that in there. You only need one cut. I'm not going to bring my Big Shot in, but you only need one cutting pad because this is one of our dynamic embossing folders. So I'm just going to run that through the Big Shot here. And just see if it makes any difference to me. I don't know if it will or if it won't, but we'll see. Yep, I already like that better. Just gives it a little bit more texture. Okay, so I have my cup. Here is my top. I'm going to take my glue, and I'm just going to run a bead of glue along the edge here. Of my coffee cup. Put that right at the top. I'm going to turn it over just to make sure that I kind of have it even. All right. Then I'm going to take the little wrapper. I'm also going to use my glue because this, now they both have texture, so we want to make sure that we get all down in those grooves. Just like that. All right, so we'll take our panel. I'm going to put glue on this also. This is one set that I will be keeping. There's too many coffee lovers in the world not to have a stamp set with a coffee cup on it. So I will be keeping this. This can go on the front of our Bermuda Bay piece. And I'm using the glue. That way I have a little bit of wiggle room and it gets down in all those grooves. All right. Then I'm going to take some of the large dimensionals. And I'm going to put some at the top where the lid and the coffee meet. And then here you go. This will go on the front. Peel the backing off, and this is going to kind of go at an angle right there. All right, now for the inside. So for the inside, I need my other piece of Whisper White. I am using another stamp set for the greeting, Beautiful Day, and I'm using this Happy Birthday, May Your Day Be As Beautiful As You. And I'm going to ink that up in Bermuda Bay. And that's going to go right in the middle of my card inside. Make sure I have it right side up. All right, and then I'm going to bring in back my other two colors here. So I'll do the Early Espresso first, and I'm just going to take the coffee beans. And I'm just going to put those on there like that. Then I will bring in my Pear Pizzazz and my little heart again, and just one little heart right there. And then that is done. And then you can take your snail. I'm using my Fast Fuse because I still love it. The inside of my card. And then that just goes right in here like that. And then there it is. All right, so yes, I definitely like, I don't know if you can tell, but I definitely like the texture on the coffee cup. It makes it look more like a coffee cup to me. Yeah, so there you have it. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. I'll be happy to answer them. All supplies can be purchased through my online store while they last at www.happystamp.stampinup.net. One last thing. My son gets done getting ice out of the machine there. As soon as the new catalogs come out, I'm going to start mailing mine out. But if you do not have a demonstrator and you'd like to choose me as your demonstrator, I'd be happy to send you a catalog. And then with every catalog, I'm going to be sending a little bookmark with all of our in colors. So that will come with your catalog. Just leave me a comment below and with your email address, and I'll send you an email. And we'll get your address on my list and get you out a catalog as soon as I get them. All right, so thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.